Hey YouTube, welcome to another useful video. Today we're going to be covering the Crane M2 3-axis gimbal stabilizer, and the main selling point of this gimbal is that it's a 3-in-1. It can handle your cell phone, your mirrorless camera, or your action camera, so let's begin with the unboxing. The box that the Zhiyun Crane M2 comes in is pretty attractive. It's a white background with colored font that accurately describes exactly what you're going to be receiving. Additionally, the Crane M2's packaging really pushes its main selling points. The first one being its compact form factor, and the second one being its ability to be a 3-in-1, so that you can mount your action camera, cell phone, or compact camera without any issues, as long as it's not more than 1.6 pounds in total weight. Additionally, the unit does have controls on the body to be able to give you some controls on the fly. However, I found that they did not work with my equipment. They were not compatible, so I've just been using the gimbal just as a gimbal without having any direct access to the controls on the main body. So the packaging does have a thin layer of cellophane, and then once you remove the cellophane, there's going to be two little sticker tabs on each end, and you can remove one of them, and once you do, you'll have access to open the package and take a look at your brand new gimbal. And once I did that, I was pleasantly surprised because the carrying case that comes with the Crane M2 is pretty nice. It's like a hardened styrofoam material, and it feels pretty high quality and has direct grooves to install every single thing that comes with the Crane M2 from the factory. Straight out of the packaging will be the Crane M2 Quick Start Guide, and it's a very pertinent and useful document. It'll help you become accustomed to all of the features that this Crane M2 offers, and also help you with things like balancing your equipment and connecting it via the software. Additionally, me as a first-time gimbal user found it very useful because I've never had to balance equipment or anything like that, so reading the quick start guide and watching the video tutorials on how to use everything was a really big help to me. Once you open the carrying case to reveal what's inside, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Everything fits within the carrying case very nicely, and upon first look and inspection, everything feels like it's very high quality. In fact, the whole packaging gives you a sense that this is something special, and in my opinion, that's really nice to feel, especially after having spent close to $300 for this piece of equipment. So far, we've taken a look at the USB Type-C connector, and this is the mounting base plate for a camera, and the base plate screw that you'll use to attach your small compact camera to the base plate. This is the adapter to use a cell phone, and I found that this piece of equipment is very high quality. It's got an internal spring and two rods. When I've mounted my cell phone onto there, it's felt very solid, and it did not feel like it was going to be shaky or fall off at any point. This is the lanyard that comes with the Crane M2, and it also feels like it's pretty nice and high quality. The tripod is a very nice piece of kit. It has 3 legs that extend out and provide a firm, stable base for the gimbal. I've used the tripod many times, and it helps as not only an extender for the gimbal, but also really nice to be able to put it down somewhere and not worry about it tipping over your equipment. Upon removing the gimbal from the packaging, the first thing you'll notice is that it's not extremely heavy. And in my opinion, it's great that it doesn't weigh a lot because it won't be burdensome to carry with you, and it adds to the portability of this item. The second thing is the overall sense of quality and attention to detail. All of the buttons feel nice, and overall, the kit itself feels like it's very high quality. In fact, coming up is a sound clip to show you how the buttons sound when you depress them. So now let's move on to the hardware. How does the actual gimbal feel in the hand, and how does it look? Well, the upcoming video clips will show you exactly how it looks at every angle, and it'll give you a better idea of where all the buttons are placed and where all of the switches are. But essentially, the main screen is an OLED screen. It's got a little toggle button that can adjust the motors to go up, down, left, or right, depending on what mode you're in. And if you have a connection with a Bluetooth and or Wi-Fi through the phone or camera, then you can control things like the shutter speed and the zoom as well. The following still images will show where all of the buttons are located on the Crane M2. So take a good look, and please write down in the comments below if you have any questions whatsoever. The following video clips will give you another look at where all the adjustments and buttons on the gimbal are located. When I was purchasing this, there was no demonstrator in the store, so I had to buy it sight unseen. And that's why I'm making this video, so that you guys can make sure it'll fit your needs and it has all of the pertinent adjustments and other features that you're looking for. So I'm gonna let these videos play, and again, if you have any questions, please write down in the comments below and I'll answer them for you as soon as possible. Next, we're going to cover the mounting and balancing. And this following video clip will show you all of the different adjustments available on the Crane M2 that you can make once you have your camera, cell phone, or action camera loaded onto the gimbal. And really, the adjustments are really easy to make. Essentially, there's some quick connects. You just open them and loosen them. And essentially, the main goal of balancing is to get the camera, cell phone, or whatever video device that you're using as square as possible on the unit, meaning that you want it to look like the gimbal was on even though it was off. And this following clip will give you an example using my Sony point-and-shoot camera. Even though the unit is not on, as you can see, I can freely move it, the camera is basically squared up on the gimbal. And this is what balancing is all about. Once this is balanced correctly, it will not only make your shots look a lot better, but it will also save your battery. So now that I've turned it on, you can see that it didn't move too much, and also the gimbal is working really nicely, keeping all of that video that I would have been taking very clean, crisp, and sharp. So essentially, once you have it balanced correctly, the gimbal goes to work and does a pretty phenomenal job of really making sure that your video turns out shake-free and as smooth as possible. It's especially great when you're tracking an object like an animal or a sporting event, but it just makes for clean, crisp video. Here's my cell phone loaded up onto the gimbal. It's a Sony Xperia XZ2 phone. And as you can see, it's a larger, heavier phone, but it fits this gimbal really nicely and provided a very good video once I took it. Next, we're going to cover the stabilization of this gimbal, and it's got 6 unique modes that include pan follow mode, locking mode, vortex mode, full range mode, and go mode. So with these 6 different types of modes, it really gives you the perfect type of stabilization based on what you're doing. And once you have your camera stabilized on the gimbal, it works really well. The motors can be adjusted for medium, hard, or soft strength. And overall, once you start recording, the images are very smooth, crisp, and nice. And I think that's the biggest thing. It gives you near professional results at a pretty great price. And it's very versatile because it's a 3-in-1. So you can use basically most of your cameras that aren't too heavy on this gimbal, and it just gives you great results. Yes, you have to balance it each and every time, but once you do it one time, I do feel like you'll have the hang of it and you'll know in general what the adjustments are that need to be made for your particular video cameras. I really like using this gimbal because it gives me a lot of great functionality. It also has this really cool selfie mode where if you hit the trigger 3 times, it turns the camera and kind of gives you access to the selfie camera. Some special features of this gimbal include the ability to lock itself down and that super quick toggle. Additionally, it's got that OLED screen with a really simple menu, so you can adjust the motor strength, connect to Wi-Fi, see the history of the connected devices, up to 5, and you can also clear them. You can also set the joystick parameters on how you want that to work. And finally, you can check on the firmware of the gimbal. And to update the firmware, you would need to download software and then connect the computer to the gimbal via USB cable. And here's a video sample to show you how great the videos can turn out when you use a gimbal. So what's my verdict on the Crane M2 3-in-1 handheld stabilizer? Well, I think it's a great device, especially for the price, because it does have all the different functionality that you're looking for. While it's not perfect, it does have some really great features, and it allows you to basically use all your video cameras as long as they're within the weight limit for the device. Some of the pros include the intuitive OLED display, the foldable construction, the quick release system, up to 7 hours of battery, 6 operation modes. And some things that aren't so great is the fact that you have to balance your equipment every single time. The software doesn't work really great, so you can't control your camera via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi unless it's a very limited approved device. And finally, it does require a little bit of playing around with to get working correctly for you. It's not something where you can just quickly slap on your device and go. But overall, for the features, the workmanship, the quality, and the overall video finesse that it gives you, I highly recommend this gimbal. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Have a wonderful day, and please stay tuned for more videos. Take care.